Welcome back to the Alice Stewart Show on 96.5 The Voice.
Say you want a revolution.
And a very pleasant good morning, everybody, as we begin the second hour of the Friday edition of the Alice Stewart Show. Alice is out today. She'll be back next week. I'm Rex Nelson sitting in, and as you were with us just before the top of the hour, you heard me say how excited I was because we're going to talk food for a few minutes here. We have my friend Kevin Shalin in from the Mighty Rib, well-known food blogger. Kevin, thank you for joining us. I'll never forget, mainly because I thought, gosh, Jessica, I don't know how you do it. I couldn't do this every morning. Before the Alice Stewart Show started on this station, I actually filled in for about 3 months, and you came in with us a few times. But one of our best Fridays ever is that Loblolly actually brought ice cream into the studio one morning. Like you haven't lived, you've had ice cream at 6:30 in the morning.
I haven't lived there. I've never had it.
especially as good as Loblolly. But you recently did a really nice piece. In the headline was "Scoop Dreams: Loblolly Creamery's ice cream has Little Rock down cold." This is, I think you and I, we disagree, I know, on some restaurants and food things. Not often, but sometimes. But this we agree on. This is great ice cream, and it would be great ice cream in any market in America, I think.
Absolutely. It's just a great local success story, and who doesn't love Loblolly ice cream here in Little Rock and in the surrounding areas? And this was the latest piece I wrote for the August edition for Little Rock Soiree. It's in the provisions section. And to get this idea, I was walking, it seemed like every place I was going around town, I would see Loblolly, either on the menu as part of their dessert menu, or they had little cases. And so that was kind of the inspiration behind the article. And then I sat down with Sally Mingle, the owner, and had a great interview with her. And I just, it's just a feel-good story. And I just think they're growing and growing. And I think it's great for everyone in the area.
I mean, it is a true ground-up story. The company started back in 2011. You mentioned Sally. Rachel Moore was also with her. And those were the only 2 employees of the company.
Yep, and they've got 10 now, and they're just getting bigger and bigger. And like I said, you're just going to start seeing that name pop up everywhere. And it's wonderful. It's just a true success story.
For the longest, and of course you can still find it there, a great place, the Green Corner Store, which has an old-fashioned soda fountain down on South Main Street in that exploding Soma district. But as you mentioned, and you list some of them here, the Loblolly products now growing across town, the Fold, South on Main, Diamond Bears, Arkansas Ale House, which recently opened over on the North Little Rock side of the river, Milo Coffee Company, Red Door, Loca Luna, Muggs Cafe, both Big Orange locations, Cafe Brunel out west, which recently opened, Trios, all of those restaurants now you can get Loblolly, and then specialty stores such as Eggshell's Kitchen Company, Dandelion, the Pie Shop up at Terry's Finer Foods in the Heights, and Stratton's Market down in the River Market at Dugan's Pub. A lot of locations now you can find this great ice cream.
As you know, the big thing right now is having local products on your menu, but that's not good enough anymore. Not only do you have to be local, but you have to be great. And they've combined that. I know a lot of these restaurant managers and owners are very proud to have that product on their menu, and I think you're just going to continue to see that on more and more menus around town.
Let me go back because I was just reading through this list: the Fold, South on Main, Diamond Bear, Milo, Red Door, Loca Luna, Big Orange, Cafe Brunel, Trios, all locally owned independent establishments. And Kevin, I lived in Little Rock in the early 80s. I moved to Washington, D.C., but came back in 89. So I have now been here continuously for a quarter of a century, and I can tell you, I don't even think there's anything close to what we're seeing now as far as the food scene exploding in Little Rock. I mean, it's not only a renaissance, if you will. A renaissance seems to suggest that you're going back to something and it's coming back. I'm saying we've never had it this good in Little Rock with the number of really good independent restaurants that we're seeing open around town.
Totally agree. And, one of the things I think is a big part of it all is it's competitive, but in many ways, it's collaborative. You're seeing a lot of these places team up, work together, use each other's product. If you go down to the farmers market, you see a lot of that. You see food trucks using vendors at the farmers market their products. I think that's a big part of it. Little Rock is a very unique population as far as size. We're growing, but we're not a behemoth, and so you still got that small town feel where it seems like people are working together, and it's a very collaborative effort, and it's wonderful to see. You've got these local places really putting out great products, and they're doing it with each other's help in a lot of cases.
Absolutely, and there's more on the horizon. For instance, I mentioned 2 locations of Big Orange. The guys at Yellow Rocket Concepts have really had, if you were in gardening, I'd call it a green thumb. I mean, they have had the magic touch with Big Orange, with Local Lime, with Zaza, all huge successes. Now they've bought the old Brownings, of course, and they're going to do the Little Rock Taco and Tamale Company, which I can't wait to try. They're going to have their own mini brewery in the Lost 40. That company really does have a magic touch, doesn't it?
Everything they touch just turns to gold, and it's how can you not like what they do? I mean, every place. I was just eating at Zaza's, and people. It's kind of funny. You kind of tend to forget about Zaza's because that was kind of the first of everything, and they still do one of the best pizzas in town, one of the best salads in town. It's hopping, it's buzzing on a Friday night, and they just. Everything they touch just turns to gold, and it's hard to deny their success. And we all are benefactors of that, so it's great. Yeah,
absolutely. And then more, like you said, on the line. I mean, Samantha's announced for Main Street in Little Rock. Donnie Furneaux, who's opening up over on Main Street in North Little Rock, still looking at a place in Little Rock. To come in geographically now with you. The other renaissance that we are seeing, I was talking about the Little Rock restaurant scene as a whole, but the comeback of downtown Little Rock, I think that's going to be really exciting. We got the Aloft Hotel going into the old Boyle building. That's going to be fun to watch over the next 5 years or so, I think.
Downtown is going to explode, and I really believe, I predict that right across the river, North Little Rock with Park Hill, the liquor laws changing there. I think that I believe that's going to be the next area that's going to explode too, because people are going to be looking for probably lower rent to get their restaurants started, and it's just it's a growing area over there. And then the Argenta area is starting to come back up. You got Furneaux coming over there. It's going to be a big name to help that area out that they've suffered on some tough times recently.
Travis McConnell of Butcher and Block is going to be going in with him in that same building.
Yeah, so that area is going to get a real shot in the arm, which is fantastic. And like you said, downtown with Main Street, it's just a great time, and we've got a lot of new places opening up. But I hope we have tempered excitement a little bit, because just because it's new doesn't mean it's great. Let's hope that they are. But it's an exciting time nonetheless. Let's just hope that these places can live up. Even out here in West Little Rock, you've got Gus's Fried Chicken.
Exactly.
That just opened up. So there's things going on in West Little Rock. I think there'll be things going on in North Little Rock, downtown. It's just a great time.
And another trend that we're seeing is food trucks that have done well now going into bricks and mortar locations. Southern Gourmasian, we're talking about downtown Little Rock, announcing it's going to have a bricks and mortar location on Capitol Avenue downtown in Little Rock. Pizzeria Santa Lucia is going to have a location next to Terry's Finer Foods up in the Heights. Yet another trend we're starting to see, the food trucks that are successful transforming into bricks and mortar.
Yeah, and these are real chefs in these food trucks. Yep. And I want to tell the public, get ready, because Justin Patterson at Southern Gourmasian, I'll tell you right now, is one of the best chefs in Little Rock.
Amen.
And he's going to really be able to stretch his wings, and I really am excited about that, because I've had some of his stuff. I've been to a private event of his, and it just blows me away by how talented he is. And sometimes we say, oh, it's just a food truck. No, this is one of the best chefs in town, and it's real reason to be excited now that he's gone brick and mortar to see what he can do.
It really is. What a great time to love to eat, to love food. I mentioned going to Bentonville not only in Little Rock, but all across Arkansas. We're seeing these exciting new restaurants, and of course, you know, a lot of what I focus on is the old traditional places, and I think we're seeing some new appreciation of young Arkansas diners for some of the old places.
Gosh, I hope so, because you know, you just don't want to forget about these places. Just because they're not the new kid on the block doesn't mean they're not doing fantastic things. Just last night, I went to Star of India, which is right down the road from here, and they've been around for a long time.
And Sammy Lau never forgets anybody's name.
Never, and you know what? It's a wonderful experience, and you know, I hope I can play a small part in it and trying to keep these smaller places that have been around but are still doing a wonderful job in the limelight. So yeah, it's an exciting time. Old, new. Surrounding areas, right in the middle of Little Rock. It doesn't matter. It's just a great time.
Kevin, thank you. You can read about Loblolly in the current issue of Little Rock Soiree. You can also catch Kevin at his blog. It is called The Mighty Rib, and it makes for great reading, although a warning. Parental guidance, I guess, needed, because it's going to make you hungry when you read it. You look at the photos. Kevin, thank you.
Thank you.
I'm Rex Nelson sitting in for Alice Stewart. More coming up. Stay tuned. This is the Alice Stewart Show on 96.5 FM, The Voice.
Brought to you courtesy of the red, white, and blue.
The Alice Stewart Show on 96.5 The Voice.